Hey, heathens! Are you feeling a little too jolly this holiday season and need some dark humor to balance it all out? Or maybe you just want to hang out with us while you wrap your presents, sip your peppermint cocoa, and avoid, the in-laws or the crazy relatives that you just do not want to get stuck in a conversation with? Or maybe you're ready to join us for our holiday edition Potty Podcast episodes where chaos meets Christmas cheer. Well, great news! We've made things super simple over on our Patreon. There's only one tier, and that's Tier Skull. When you join, you'll get ad-free Deadly Faith episodes because nothing kills the mood like an ad mid-murder story. And you get full access to the Potty Podcast where we talk about everything we can't fit into the main show and we just let the conversation flow. It's the perfect way to add a little dark sparkle to your holiday season. You get caffeine, crime, and a cozy dose of chaos. So unwrap your dark side and join the Heathen family today. Click the link in the show notes to check out our Patreon and join Tier Skull, the gift that just keeps on giving. Now, happy holidays, heathens, and back to the show.
Hey, heathens. You're listening to the Deadly Faith Podcast where religion and crime collide. I'm Lola.
And I'm Lacey.
And it's our 100th freaking episode.
Woo!
The mind that was in Jesus, that mind is in me.
Without me, life has no meaning.
Why would God tell you what I'm thinking and tell you what I've said to my wife or my husband when you're not around? It's because I'm the pastor of the church and I need to know.
This is the only place where you can see truth.
We're excited, if you can't tell.
100.
Boom.
So we decided we wanted to do a long time ask.
Yes.
Because everyone knows about Jonestown.
Yeah.
Both Lacey and I have known about it for many years.
Mm-hmm.
So we decided instead of having one of us present it, both of us will present it. So I will be taking the first half. So this will be a part 1, part 2 series because Jonestown is apparently a lot longer than we thought it was.
It's a rabbit trail that will suck you into the depths of a black hole, and then you just don't come out of it. This was not supposed to be 2 episodes. This was supposed to be just one episode. She covers the first half, I cover the second half. Bing, bang, boom, we're done. But then we both started doing our research, and I was like, girl, I need my whole own episode. Like, I have too much information. She was like, I do too. So here we are. You guys get 2 episodes. We're going to be super nice, and we're going to release them one day after the other. So you're going to get an episode today, part 1. Tomorrow, part 2 will be released as well. So you're going to get a twofer. So there,
yes,
you're going to have that.
You do not have to wait on this one.
Yeah. Now, our dark week for Thanksgiving, we usually take Thanksgiving and Christmas and we don't release episodes that week. So our schedule is going to be a little wonky throughout the rest of 2025. So bear with us. So you're getting this episode today and you're getting an episode tomorrow. In 2 weeks, it's going to be Thanksgiving. You're going to get a Potty Podcast episode. It is going to be a bonus episode that's up on our page for everybody to listen to. If you like it, you can subscribe to the Patreon where you can listen to all of the episodes and get one every couple weeks over there. As part of our Patreon. So in December, we're going to release 2 episodes, but they're going to be 1 week after another. And then we'll take a couple weeks off because of Christmas. But you'll still get 2 episodes in December. You're still getting 2 episodes now. And then you're going to get the Potty Podcast. So that is our little housekeeping. We are not going to be bantering a lot back and forth because we have too much information to share. And if we had a lot of banter, we would literally be here for 4 hours per episode. And we just can't do that. We won't do that to y'all because, dear Lord, my brain can't handle that. And your brains can't handle that. So it's not going to be as super interactive as you're used to, but just bear with us. You're going to like the episode. If you think you know Jonestown, just wait.
Yeah, it's Jonestown.
Just fucking wait. Like, you're going to learn more. Just telling you.
We certainly did.
Yeah.
So trigger warnings for my half is racism, animal death, rape, and violence.
Okay.
Dun, dun, dun. And I picked out a word for it. I said, this shit is a disaster.
Oh, yeah.
I know we didn't do our normal intro with that, but...
Right.
So Jim Jones, his full name is James Warren Jones, and he was born May 13th of 1931 in rural Indiana.
Rural.
I hate that word.
Why did you?
Because I can never say it right.
Same.
His mother told him that she knew he was destined for great things and that he would help a lot of people, especially those who were suffering and outcasts.
Oh, okay.
Jones grew up a part of the Pentecostal faith, And he would often preach his own sermons as a child to like animals, like real animals or stuffed animals.
Yeah.
And he also practiced healing real animals. Not sure if he ever actually heals any of them, but
I'm going to go out on a limb and say nah.
He graduated Richmond High School, and his first job was an orderly at Reed Memorial Hospital.
Oh, okay.
And I know he's got religious roots, but he actually did lose his faith a little bit during this time.
Did he?
Just a little bit. He kind of stepped away from God because he was like, how could God allow suffering in this world? When he worked at the hospital, he sees suffering firsthand.
Yeah.
So that kind of shook him up a little bit, and it made him kind of deny, like, no, God couldn't allow this to happen. So, like, there's no God.
Yeah.
But then in 1949, he married Marceline, who is a nurse and a humanitarian activist. And she really kind of turned him back onto the path of faith. She was like, he allows suffering, but it's based on these things, and we can have hope and we can still move forward. And there's a touch of gray to every shade of blue kind of thing.
Yeah.
They had several kids together. So Stephen is their biological son.
Yes.
He's going to come back.
Yes.
A lot in this.
Yeah. And in my episode as well.
Yes. I mainly just mean yours. He won't come back much for mine.
Yeah.
So Stephen, Agnes, Lou, Stephanie, and Suzanne were the first, 5 kids. In 1959, their daughter, Stephanie, died in a car accident. And then they later adopted 2 more children. One of them is named Jim Jones Jr., and the other one is Timothy Tupper.
So the only biological child they have is Stephen, correct?
Yes.
All the other ones are adopted, right?
Yes.
Okay.
And how it went is they adopted Agnes, Lou, Suzanne, and Stephanie. And then when Stephanie died, they had Stephen. And if you'll notice, Stephen's name is spelled like Stephen without the IE. So it's possible that there was a mourning period there.
Because it's Stephan. Okay. I was like, that's a weird name.
So I put that together after we had talked, and I was like, Stephen's name is spelled weird.
That's where okay. Yeah, I remember that now.
So in the early 1950s, Jim started working as a student pastor at small churches around Indianapolis. Specifically in 1952, he worked at Somerset Methodist Church, where he began healing services and a campaign for racial integration as a student pastor. So he's got lofty goals.
Yeah. Can I interrupt you really quick?
Yeah.
This is something that I found in my research, and I was wondering if you were going to find it because it's crazy.
Tell me.
Did you realize his parents were not religious?
I don't know much about. I know that they were just poor.
His parents weren't religious, and they were constantly working. And so he would meander around his neighborhood forever. And this old lady neighbor would bring him in and feed him pie. And she had her Bible. And he was like, what's that? And she's like, the Bible. And he's like, I've never heard of the Bible before. So she taught him about God and turned him on to religion as a child. I think he was 8 or 9.
Wow.
Yeah. Isn't that fucking crazy? Yeah. And then he went freaking crazy after that. And he would even preach sermons not only to animals, but he'd also preach sermons to his classmates, and tried to do this coffin sermon where he told a kid to get into a coffin and submit to God. Yeah.
Yes. I remember coming across that. Yes.
It was insane. But yeah, okay, that was I just had to throw that in there because I was like, that's crazy.
And that kid did not submit to him and do that, and he got very angry. Yes.
Yes. You're correct.
So he was an enthusiastic preacher. His teachings were very convincing that he had psychic abilities and higher powers with public healings and then foretelling the future in a way. Really, he's just taking context clues from the current state of things and moving off of that. So
yeah,
it's really anything that you and I could do.
He's being manipulative.
He is. Yeah. I think he wants to think that he's not.
Yeah.
I think he really wants to believe that he's special, but I don't think he was. So,
no.
And he also wanted people of color to be in this church, in his audience. He wanted them in the fold. However, he could get them in. But his church leadership was not keen on this because, remember, we're in the 50s.
Yeah. And Brown versus Board of Education, that was 1954. I think is, if I'm remembering the dates right, Brown versus Board of Education. And so then like integration was really pushed after that. But it took churches a long time after that to finally like be somewhat okay with it. So
yeah,
he's fighting against the times.
He is, yeah. He's a little bit ahead of the curve in that way.
He is. And this is the part where Lola and I were talking. We're like,
we wanted to root for him.
If we did.
Like at the beginning, it's like we're researching this and we're like, okay, how did this go wrong? Like, this sounds like a lot of things that like we would be okay with, like integration, the queer community, activism, human rights. Like, this is all sounding normal and decent, but
it goes way wrong.
So he decided, let me make my own church. Any color, any size, any lifestyle, you could bring it here. And then he took it a step further by saying, I don't even want to say this because I'm a white person and I don't want to say this. Okay.
When you told me this, I did not know this.
I have a direct quote also. So like, he said, I am the same as a Black person. Jim said that he was born Black and that he had suffered similarly to Black people.
No, sir. No, you didn't. Shut the fuck up.
Guys, if you don't know what Jim Jones looks like, first of all, we have a plethora of photos.
He's white as hell.
He's not part of, yeah, okay.
Before we go any further, we're going to just like, the cat's out of the bag. This is very much a white savior complex. Like, it's textbook. And it was one of the moments where I was like, oh, wow. Like, he really was only doing this for recognition and empathy and like for himself. This wasn't about...
Not for a higher cause or something that was bigger than him.
And it might have been a little bit about that, but for the most part, it was about himself.
Especially towards the end, you can really see, like, when it comes down to the wire, he'll throw anybody away to save himself.
Yeah.
This is a quote by him. I had early developed a sensitivity for the... I don't want to say this. Oh, my God. Guys, I am quoting Jim Jones. I am not saying this from my own person, okay?
Just rip the Band-Aid off. You can do it.
I had early developed a sensitivity for the problems of Blacks. I too probably feeling as an outcast. I brought the only Black young man in the town to my house to visit my dad and to visit my home. My dad said that he could not come in, and I said, then I shan't. And I did not see my dad for many years, or for some time thereafter. And then he also, after this, talks about how he didn't like his dad.
Yeah.
And then he says that his dad had connections with the KKK or was in the KKK. It's unclear to me.
Okay.
And no evidence was found to like support that claim about his dad.
Well, neither here nor there, but like it wouldn't shock me. Like it's not like they have a like membership list they just give out to anybody, you know what I mean?
Right.
So
it's not a sex offender registry.
Right. Should be, but you know, it's not.
That is a good
Just saying.
If you're going to be racist, please put your name here.
Say it with your whole chest.
Mm-hmm. Okay, so in 1954, Jim began his own congregation, which is called Community Unity. I hate that name. I'm sorry.
I do too.
It's just cheesy. It probably slapped back then, but anyway.
Right.
But he did not tell people. So remember, he's like, I'm going to make my own church and like, it's going to be anyone can come here. I don't care what color you are or like who you sleep with. I don't care. He didn't tell people, though, that what also influenced his decision to create his own church is because he got exiled from the Methodist Church because he was caught stealing funds. So
that tracks.
So he initially started preaching on the street in like impoverished communities. So where you've got a lot of people of color living. And he would also use the local tabernacle for some services. So I think he could rent the tabernacle on days where it wasn't necessarily in use for service.
Okay.
And preach there too. And then he also was trying to raise money to like get his own building and stuff. And the way that he did that, he would do a lot of like different selling products and stuff, like door-to-door salesman.
Yeah.
And one of his like money-making ventures was also selling live pet monkeys door-to-door.
No.
First of all, where are you getting the monkeys?
Fucking seriously. But also, if Tiger King told me anything, it's like, you can get whatever the fuck you want somehow, some way. There is a way.
But that's now.
I know, but they still be crazy. There wasn't as many regulations back then as there is now.
You know what? You raise a good point there. Okay, so in 1956, he renames his church to Wings of Deliverance, and his ministry at this time took off. He held a religious conference at, I think it's pronounced Cadle Tabernacle, where the attendance was estimated about 11,000 people.
That's a chunk of people.
And it also included people of color. So it was...
Not 1,100, 11,000.
11,000.
Jesus, Mary and Joseph. That's a lot.
I know. Yeah, he enraptured the crowd, though. He was like super enthusiastic preaching. I mean, think about traditional Pentecostal. He's speaking in tongues. He's prophesying. He's laying hands on people, doing like healings and stuff.
Charismatic as the ass.
Yes. And his like belief system, it's not necessarily like Methodist forward. It's called, now he made this up, okay? This is all him. It's called apostolic socialism.
Okay.
She's rolling her eyes and confused.
My brain's like, the dots are trying to connect and they're not connecting.
So it's influenced by Marxist type views. So it's like liberation theology.
Okay.
And it was popular among like Latin American groups.
Okay.
So I keep wanting to say something different.
Apostolic.
I keep wanting to say apocalypse or something. Apostolic socialism was created by Jones to show how he believed creating a community where everyone was equal across the board.
Yeah.
And that it was like based off of the apostles' doctrine in the book of Acts in the Bible.
Okay.
So he was just like, let me show you that it can all be the level playing field. There's not a hierarchy to the church.
Okay.
Or to like spirituality.
Honestly, I get the idea.
I know where he's going. Like, I can see how this is tracking.
Yeah.
And he mixed, social concerns like race and sexual orientation with faith healing.
Yeah.
So he's moving in a direction that a lot of established churches in that area were not happy with. So, I mean, it's Indiana.
Yeah.
A few months later, after he made it the Wings of Deliverance place, he rebranded again and finally as the People's Temple.
Oh my God. How many, was this number 4 or is this number 3? Okay, this is 3. Number 3. Gosh, pick a name and stick it.
Unless there's one that I'm missing, because I tell you, you can research all day and there's still more to learn, guys.
Yeah. It's like one of the things, it's like, how far are you going to take it? Because like, it will never end. Like you could always.
I mean, there's several books, movies, documentaries, podcasts that have covered Jonestown. And it's like, you're always going to find new information, which is like kind of cool, but it's also really hard to like be able to fit it all in one place,
Yeah.
So we're doing our best. Anyway, so he rebranded it to the People's Temple because he wanted it to sound more inclusive.
Mm-hmm.
I don't know how it wasn't inclusive sounding before as Wings of Deliverance, but whatever.
It kind of tracks in my head. You know what I mean?
It's a more attractive name in my brain.
Yeah.
Than Wings of Deliverance.
Yeah.
But the People's Temple wasn't just church, though. It was a community that lived together.
Mm-hmm.
So he encouraged communal living so that they could all work together, worship together, always be together. And after this huge success at the Cadle Tabernacle, he wanted to establish his congregation as officially integrated. So he brought on a Black associate pastor named Archie James, and this caused a lot of problems. It shouldn't have. It shouldn't,
because their whole ministry was built on this. So why was this an issue?
Well,
let me tell you, darling.
So it was public backlash that was the main issue with it. There wasn't an issue within the church.
Okay.
That they had created. It was that they were being harassed by the public now for anyone that saw this group, and they're popular now.
Yeah.
Like, especially based on their taboo, like healings and enthusiastic preachings, and then also they're integrated. So they're getting hit from all sides. They're not the vibe for the current day.
No. And so they're like basically looking at it as like, how dare you put give a Black person power and authority.
Yeah.
That's not their place.
Yes.
Is kind of the vibe I'm getting.
So media outlets would use a racial slur when describing Archie. And at first you'd think they'd be like, Jim would be like super upset about this and like railing against it. But he actually leaned into it.
Wait, I'm assuming the N-word with the hard R? Okay, that's shocking because he straight up walked out of his wife's parents' house because her dad used the N-word in front of him. And he made his wife choose between him and her dad. And she chose Jim. So I'm like, wait, okay, you got to keep going with this because now I got questions.
So yeah, he leaned into it, officially branding Archie as the slur pastor.
So like in a way trying to...
I wonder if he was trying to like reclaim the narrative and take power in it and be like, yeah. Like if you want to say that, we're going to make it a good thing.
Yeah.
Like maybe that was it. Like flip the script kind of thing.
Yeah, but also you're a white man, so like don't say that.
Now, I don't know how Archie felt about it.
Yeah.
And maybe if Archie was the one that said,
right,
let's take let me own it as my own in a way.
Yeah.
But I'm not sure about that.
Just makes us feel all the uncomfies.
So after this, Jim began a social ministry, opening up a soup kitchen that served about 3,000 meals a month. It provided nursing care for the elderly. It was just, it was a good place, you know? They had like clothing drives, they had food drives and stuff, like
being the hands and feet of Jesus.
Like just serving the community. And he's also, at the same time that all of the ministry stuff is taking off, he is in college at Indiana University, and then he transfers over to Butler University for an education degree. And he does graduate with that in 1961.
That's concerning. Like you as a teacher?
I know, yeah. I'm not really sure what his intention was to do with that, if ministry was his main thing.
Save souls, teach, you know, like...
Maybe he wanted to open up, like, schools and stuff, too, for all I know. So, yeah, he graduated with the education degree in 1961, and then he briefly attended law school, but he didn't graduate law school.
Okay.
And then during the 60s, he was actually appointed as the director of the Indianapolis's Human Rights Commission, where he worked to promote and protect all human rights. Here again, I'm like, that's a really important thing. Use your privilege in the best way possible, right?
I know what you do in the future. And so it's like really hard because I want
That's why we can't. Yeah.
I want to be mad, but I also like struggle because I'm like, but I like what you did here. Like,
such a confusing man he is.
Oh, it's a conundrum.
So he's already like super popular with the media and stuff. He's got a lot of publicity for his taboo stuff he's doing. But then he's also getting publicity across other communities because of the way he's like working to empower people and helping to protect human rights. And then he's also promoting integration across public facilities and neighborhoods. And he was responsible for integrating 58 out of 61 white-owned businesses in his position as director. So that's nice.
That's so good.
I have so many thoughts. Okay, so let's move on to a bit more about like Jim inside his mind, okay?
That's a scary fucking place to go.
Mainly, let's just explore his fears for now, okay?
Okay,
so one of his main fears ever since he was a child is nuclear war. He believed that nuclear war was inevitable. It would absolutely happen, and within his lifetime.
Which, granted, valid fear of that time frame. I can understand it.
Yeah, so he's not like, this isn't something that people would look at him and be like, that's dumb, because it was assumed by society at large that in the 1940s that this was inevitable.
Yeah.
Because like in the 1940s, the Soviets announced that they had nuclear bombs, and then everyone is actively working towards like nuclear warfare and just having something.
It was the equivalence of like we do active shooter drills at school. They were doing nuclear threat drills, like,
which by the way are pointless.
I was about to say, kiss your ass goodbye. Like, just bend over, take it.
Just walk to the epicenter, honestly. That's what I'd do.
Oh, yeah. If I see that,
I'm going straight for it.
I don't want to live in that apocalypse. No,
I don't
thank you. I have seen the movies.
I've seen Fallout.
I have seen the series. I am good. Take me to the other side, wherever the fuck that is.
Yeah. The only difference was that we were the first to do something with nuclear weapons.
Yeah.
So World War II ended and we dropped atomic bombs on Japan. So the U.S. and Soviet Union were in good positions by the end of World War II because we both had nuclear weapons and the rest of the world was still kind of working on like building devices.
Developing theirs. Yeah.
So through the 40s and 60s, the U.S., have put nuclear missiles in our territories and pointed them towards Soviet territories. And they put theirs in Cuban territory and pointed them at us and said, like, look, mine's bigger than yours. They also had better delivery devices. So, like, anyway.
Yeah.
It was a big scare because, like, that was called the Cuban Missile Crisis if you fell asleep during history class like I did.
Mm-hmm.
I had to relearn all of this. Anyway.
Which, granted, I think most of us do.
So the whole USA was, like, freaked out, thinking that we were goners because, like, we were okay after World War II. We felt stable and we also felt powerful. And then now we have a bigger threat that's posed towards us and they are more advanced with some of their weaponry. So not too far off to be scared. You are correct. And then Jim also had kind of a weird belief, and I don't really know how much weight we should put in this, but he believed specifically that China was actually working to actively bring about the nuclear war so that they could just like get it over with and begin like reparations and stuff. I don't know if this belief is necessarily founded, but at the time that this is like, he's having this thought process is also when China is undergoing a cultural revolution.
Mm-hmm.
But I don't know much more about that. So
okay,
there could be some evidence there, but I'm not a history buff. So
in religious circles, like a lot of times stuff is blamed on China, or the conspiracy theories or fear is rooted in the belief that China is going to come and take over. Like, I don't know how many times with COVID, they were like, this was orchestrated and China's at our borders. They're ready to take over. And I was like, I literally had to call my friend in the military and be like, this is the conspiracy theory that's being floated to us. Can you confirm or deny? And they were like, no, China's not at our border. Like, tell them to calm the hell down. And so I like talked this person off the ledge, like, stop reading everything that this other person is texting you because like...
And again, religion loves end times.
Yeah.
All religion loves death. It's focused around it in a lot of ways. So
yes, it is.
Anyway, the last thing that I want to note here with the like nuclear war stuff is that safe places to seek shelter were published by a couple of media outlets. And specifically, they notated that these two locations need to stand out to us. So there were 9 places it was a list of like the big 9 of where to hide. But there were 2 that stood out to Jim, and that is Eureka, California, and Belo Horizonte, I don't know if that's how you say it, Belo Horizonte, Brazil.
Okay.
It's in Brazil. Anyway.
Hey, that's the best version I could have come up with to try to pronounce that.
So, moving on from that, now we know what he's scared of. In 1962, there was an attack at the Jim Jones home. Sorry, at the Jones home, and at their church. So, unfortunately, Jim and his congregation are no strangers to racial attacks because they've experienced a lot of media backlash, but also they have been attacked in public verbally. They've been like had stuff thrown at them. They've received threatening calls.
Yeah.
They're just being harassed from everybody, from all sides. So
yeah,
they actually had people that like painted swastikas on their building at a certain point. So when they got a building for the church,
wow,
they would often call Jim specifically or the Jones house to threaten them since they were the orchestrators of the church. So
yeah,
but this attack was someone called them and was threatening to kill their family. And then that person or persons, because we're not sure who it was, threw a dead cat at the Jones home. I don't know if it like went through a window at them. I don't know.
Or thrown on their porch or something along those lines. Yeah.
Yeah, but after the phone call, it like happened almost immediately.
Oh,
Creepy.
dang.
And then at the church, also, someone had put a pile of coal right outside the building and stuck sticks of dynamite in it.
Okay. Damn.
Like threatening to blow them up or something. So,
Yeah.
not great. Especially not great for probably his paranoia, because when it comes to like threats of being killed or bombings, he's like super paranoid. So,
Soups.
shortly after this, he actually has a vision of nuclear attacks that are going to happen.
Gotta love Jim Jones and his visions.
It's just like psychosis, like delirious
Religious and
paranoia. It's just his fears. He probably had some like OCD thought spirals,
oh yeah.
So he's like, I'm scared. I gotta go. We gotta go. So he's like, whoever is with him at the time, which is just his kid. I don't know what kids are with him at this time, to be honest, because I don't know the time frames in which they adopted every single one of them. But he's like, I'm taking my kids, I'm taking my wife, I'm going to Brazil. We gotta go. So Brazil.
Hide your kids, hide your wife.
So again, he's going to a safe place, one of the 9 listed.
One was Brazil.
He goes to Brazil,
Great.
and he stays there for about a year with his wife and kids. And he had money and lived lavishly there. Your money goes a long way in Brazil now. It went even further back then. So,
Yeah. A cult leader taking the congregation's money and living lavishly?
never.
Where have I ever heard that before?
That's never happened, yeah.
Never in my life. Never in my life.
But he was said to have been very generous to every single person that he met while in Brazil also. So that was
Well, at least there's that.
interesting. And he told people when they were like, who are you? Like, what are you doing here? He said that he was a retired USA Navy captain looking to recoup from the Korean War. That is a horrible, horrible thing to try and identify with and claim that you served in the Korean War. Do you even fucking know?
That is the biggest.
I mean, you shouldn't claim to have served during wartime at all, but ugh.
If you look up crock of shit in a dictionary, this scenario is the definition.
But people believed him, I'm sure.
Oh, I'm sure. He was convincing.
So he made those claims, but no one actually knows exactly what he was doing there, or like, they don't know. I have a feeling that he was probably scouting the place a little bit to maybe bring them there versus Guyana. Is it called Guyana? Is it pronounced Guyana?
Guyana.
Thank you.
Guyana.
Because the whole time I was studying, I was like, I feel like it's Guyana, but anyway.
It's Guyana.
Great. So I think that he might have been scouting Brazil and then decided maybe against it at a later time, that it wasn't.
Yeah.
It's not as close anyway, so it probably wasn't as feasible for quick travel for the congregation. So anyway,
Yeah.
in December of 1963, he comes home and finds that the People's Temple is bitterly divided due to financial issues they had found themselves in.
Oh.
And low attendance. I mean, he's been gone. He hasn't been able to like nurture the congregation as he was before. He's not doing his sermons, and he's also probably draining them financially because he's using that money from the church fund to fund his lifestyle over in Brazil.
Yeah, they're just trying to keep afloat, and he's over here
Exactly.
spending all the dollar bills, y'all.
Yes, they're working unpaid labor. Remember, they all live together too. So it's not just the like church building that needs maintenance, but it's also like their actual land and their house and animals and things like that. So because of the divide and people just leaving and stuff, he was forced to sell the church building and relocate to a smaller building that was nearby. And then he starts scouting for places to relocate outside of the U.S. So again, he's like, where can I go outside the U.S.?
Where are they at right now?
So at this point, they are still in Indiana, but they are about to move.
Okay.
So he's like, I'm thinking about relocating to Guyana. So I'm just going to visit for a little bit. So that's his first visit, is 1964. In July of 1965, Jim Jones and his followers began the move to Redwood Valley, California. This is near Ukiah, which is also near Eureka, California, which is the second safe place that stuck out to us, or to him.
Yep.
Amid the nuclear hiding places. So, and then Ukiah is also the place where Father Divine preached a lot about equality and peace for all. Lacey's laughing because she knows Father Divine's full name, and we will talk about him in a bit.
I can't with this person.
So yeah, this is where Father Divine began his ministry, preaching about equality and peace for all. And California has always been more progressive. It was progressive back then as well. So Jim believed that his words were going to be, well received there, and that the community would boom. Whenever this happens, he has an assistant pastor named Russell, I don't know if it's Weinberg or Winberg, that resisted the move and warned members, do not go with him. We cannot go there.
Oh.
Specifically because he's saying, Jim's going off the rails. He is trying to get you to go with him to go do things that, he's going to take everything from you. You're going to lose everything that you have. Not that you have a lot left at this point, but he was saying...
He was seeing the red flags.
He was seeing...
It was clear to him.
And he said that he was abandoning Christianity, and he was just getting too ego. His ego was inflated, and he wasn't a humble servant anymore. He was becoming something as a monster dictator kind of thing.
That tracks.
No one heeded his warning. No one. And he ended up moving with them, which is interesting.
So he didn't even heed his own warning.
I think that he was still worried about the church members, and I think that he was going to try and convince them, or to save them still.
Get the train back on the railroad tracks.
Yeah.
Yeah. Keep it from completely derailing. Yeah.
So in 1965, they moved to California officially, and they established its headquarters in San Francisco. And this move expanded the temple's reach a lot and their influence a lot. So they set up 3 to 4 different places in California for different wards of the People's Temple. And they did really well in California. Real well.
Yeah.
In 1966, the People's Temple starts contributing to Disciples of Christ. Disciples of Christ is... how do I explain this? They're
Great question, because I have no idea.
Okay, so Disciples of Christ, it's headquartered in Indiana, and it's the main Protestant church for America and Canada. So when you think about a Protestant church, just know that the backbone of it, where it started, so all the planted churches from the get-go that have all branched off over the last 200 years or so, it all started with Disciples of Christ.
It's if you trace back the family tree, this is the
father.
This is the moment. This is
of
the
fathers.
Yeah.
And so Disciples of Christ is actually the place that officially ordains Jim Jones. So he officially is kind of works for the organization in a way. And
okay,
not all of the People's Temple realized that their contributions were going to Disciples of Christ. So they're kind of thinking that this is still kind of something that's going to help them, the communal group that they've been part of. All their money is supposed to go to everyone. All their resources is supposed to go to everyone. It's not supposed to go to outside benefactors.
But it is.
So between 1966 and 1977, the People's Temple contributed $1.1 million, which is the equivalent to, oh my God, $4,697,803 in 2020. Lots of money. So they didn't know all that was happening, but the majority of their payments was going there. Okay, so July 15th of 1967, the prophecy of nuclear war. We can't get away from it. Jim tells the Indiana congregation that the world is going to be engulfed by a nuclear war in July of 1967, leading to a new socialistic Eden on Earth, and that the temple has to stay in Northern California. They all need to officially move. Everyone that was left there needs to come with them. So everyone has to be together.
Yeah.
Can you scream control? Anyway.
Control!
So in 1969, he increased the membership to the People's Temple. It's growing exponentially. It's growing in the thousands. It's not even hundreds now. Thousands are joining up for this whole thing because he's promising a life that's better, that's equal, that's he makes you feel special too. Like your talents can be used to like serve the community in a unique way, you know, like
it's paradise on earth.
It is, yeah. And you're always provided for. You've always got people that have got your back. You know, his influence is great. It was in Indiana and it is in California. Specifically, he's like getting high profile friends. And I don't mean like a singer, you know, like a popular singer. I mean like Jane Fonda and her husband.
Yep.
And Jimmy Carter and his wife.
Yep.
Which, by the way, I like Jimmy Carter and I like Jane Fonda. I think that they are nice people. Rest in peace, Jimmy Carter. But like, they are human rights activists. So again, we're aligning with a lot of the same people. And this is weird.
I have a feeling that he didn't let the famous people or the high profile people and politicians and stuff that he rubbed elbows with, I don't think he let them see under the curtain. Like he didn't crack around them. And I think he had a very strong mask he put on around them to keep up with, you know, his activism and everything. And plus in California, it's more progressive. There's more people. So, and it's the more hippity dippity. So like everything he's saying, the Californians are eaten up with a freaking spoon. They're lapping it.
That makes sense. Yeah.
So numbers are increasing. It makes sense. Yeah.
Okay. So we're going to talk about Father Divine. I know I brought him up earlier. I got to make that full connection for you. So for several years, Jim Jones has been connected with Father Divine. Father Divine is a person who regards himself as God, and he asks the same of his followers. They are to treat him like God. They are to call him God the Father. His full name is Reverend Major Jealous Divine. That's his full name. He was a person of color. He passed in 1965, but before his passing, he led an international peace mission movement, which was a spiritual group that focused on creating space, community, healing, equality. And he believed, so Father Divine believed that he was Jesus Christ reborn and that his own life fulfilled all of the biblical prophecies about Christ. I can't get into that right now.
I literally can't roll my eyes fucking hard enough. When people are like, I am Jesus reincarnated, I am like, are you kidding me? I don't know if I've shared this on the podcast. I have had literally, in my time on social media, 2 people reach out to me and straight up with their whole chest and in their whole entire belief system, they believed they were the second coming of Jesus.
Delusional.
I am not fucking kidding. And I'm like, blah.
How you get that far gone? Some people think they're Elvis too, though. So like,
true.
Father Divine had made quite an impression on people for his ideas, and even more so when he was arrested due to his disturbing the peace, because his house church one night, he had like outmaxed capacity in his neighborhood, and he was put in jail for 30 days. During his stay in jail, he made a cryptic statement to police. He said something along the lines of like, you're going to regret locking me up. And they were like, okay. And right before his jail time was up and he was supposed to like go to court officially and like, I don't know, pay a fine or something.
Yeah, have his hearing.
Right before that, the judge who was presiding over his case died of a heart attack. And Father Divine told his cellmates and stuff and the police officers that were attending to him, I hate I had to do that. I hate it. I didn't want to do that.
Shut your fucking face. Shut your fucking face right now.
And then when he was released from jail, he told everyone about that. And then he also opened the first of his heavens, which are like residential hotels where he would teach and practice, and his followers could get food, shelter, jobs, spiritual guidances or whatever, and then like physical health checks.
Discipleship.
Yeah. So like it was a one-stop shop in a way.
Yeah, it's the more I did not know about Father Divine, like at all whatsoever until you shared more about him. And this tracks so much to what Jones tries to create or is trying to recreate.
I was just going to say, like, Jim really liked the heavenly, like, hotel things that he made. He didn't like all of the Reverend's ideas, but he didn't agree with him saying, I am God. Specifically, he had a huge issue with that and had like quarreled with some of the like Father Divine's followers over that.
Yeah, because he's like, you can't be God because I'm God.
Because I'm God.
There's only one God here, motherfucker, and it's me.
The white man, anyway.
Yeah, the white man.
So he just liked the utopian society that he created, and it was pretty, for the time, it was pretty successful. So yeah, in San Francisco, Jim Jones is doing well with celebrities. We know that. He's now getting favor with public officials as well. So like he's helping with charitable causes and getting votes for certain politicians.
Yep.
He's helping to push a lot of political agendas. And the People's Temple is also, remember they did the soup kitchens and stuff like that?
Yes.
Okay.
Yes.
So they're still doing that here too. And they're even like more advanced. They have like better funding and stuff.
Right.
So like they have social and medical programs for anyone in need, including, the free dining hall, drug rehabilitation, and legal aid services. So like it's a step further. It's actually a couple steps further than what he was doing before.
Right. Yeah. Agreed.
Because that stuff takes serious money and it takes a lot of people to run it. And by the way, do you think any of those people are getting paid?
Hells no.
No.
That's all volunteer. I bet my sweet bottom dollar on that.
I would bet that too, yeah. And unfortunately, a lot of them are dead, so we can't ask them.
Yeah.
Anyway.
That was dark, but that's what we're
Sorry. I'd love to ask. I'd love to know. But Jim killed him. Anyway, so he's dead.
Spoiler alert. I'm just kidding.
So if you're listening to our podcast, you already know what Jonestown is.
Yeah, you do. Honestly, okay, hold on. I know we said no tangents, but I will say I was finishing my notes the other day at school and they were like, what's your next episode about? And I was like, Jonestown. And they were like, what's that? And I'm like, you are in your 30s. How the frick do you not know? Yeah, the other two 30-something-year-old girls had no idea what Jonestown was. I was like, guys, you gotta listen to our episodes. I'm just saying.
Did they not grow up in religious circles or anything?
No, they did.
Huh.
So I don't know how you just don't hear about Jonestown.
It has kind of teetered off, though. I think Charles Manson took over.
No, because Charles Manson happened before Jonestown. Because that's what I thought. But then I looked it up and I was like, fucking A.
You're right.
It was the end of the 60s when Charles Manson did his thing. So.
Oh, you're right. I keep mixing that up with the freaking 70s. Yeah.
Yeah, no, late 60s. Yeah, crazy. I know, huh?
I don't know why that one, because I feel like that one is more popular than Jonestown.
And and it honestly shouldn't be because this one's way fucking worse.
You would think they would just be on equal playing fields, but whatever.
That one's more bloody.
It's true.
But this one is more deadly, if you understand.
And it also has the death of a celebrity. So
right. Yeah.
Maybe that's relevant.
Probably.
Okay, so his messages of social equality, racial justice, he's got a diverse group of followers now. And we've got a lot of young, idealistic people that are following him. They want to do something meaningful with their lives. They want to live for something bigger than themselves and also practice communal living because it feels like it works in theory and they see it working with this community, or so they think. So in 1970, Jim Jones and 150 of his followers go to a faith healing revival at San Francisco's Missionary Baptist Church, and they do an impressive but staged healing.
Oh, of course. At first I thought you meant they went to participate in the participants of it, not realizing oh wait, no, Jim Jones is full on, he's leading the way.
Yes. Yeah.
He is the speaker.
For sure. Yeah. And so they recruit about 200 to 300 new members just at this one convention or whatever. He also attacked the Baptist teachings and encouraged his followers to do the same. He was straight up calling them stupid, that they didn't know anything and that they were sinful and neglecting the true word, the true way, whatever.
A sign of him going off the rails.
Yeah, that's not so much about like unity and community and equal playing fields. Seems like competition. So,
Yep.
in 1971, he got bad publicity about that, but like all publicity is good publicity for Jim. So he got even more bad publicity when the media covered one of his like divine healing services because they debunked it.
Of course they did.
They were like, that didn't look real. And the same year, 1971, Jim Jones visits the tomb and shrine of Father Divine and then makes another just absolutely wild claim. He says, I am the reincarnation of Father Divine, and I am now his successor.
This getting real witchcrafty. Just gonna say it.
So Father Divine is the reincarnation of Christ. And so now Jim Jones is saying, I'm the reincarnation of Father Divine. Therefore, are you saying you're the reincarnated Christ?
This is more confusing than Father, Son, and Holy Spirit. And how is 3 and 1 and 1 and 3? That shit was confusing as hell, still is to me. And this is even worse. So no, absolutely not.
And he even went up to Father Divine's wife, who is called Mother Divine.
No, he didn't.
And accused, oh my God. He was like, you're a fake. You're a phony.
No.
You're not divine. And she was like, you're the devil in disguise. Leave.
That's right.
She straight up said, you are,
you know what?
Devil.
The only person I believe that's divine is Mother Divine.
Mother Divine.
That's it. That's it. That's the
Let's
only.
hope that she didn't do anything bad.
That's the only one with their head on her shoulders as of this point in this story. Like, Lord have mercy.
Who goes up to the widow and says that shit?
A cocky, egotistical jackass like Jim Jones himself.
So after he makes this comment to the widow, horrible, during the same time, we also need to talk about his affairs.
Yes.
Which Lacey might have some more to add to this.
Just a tiny bit in my section.
I got a good bit of information, but I feel like Lacey will have something to add. So he pledged his loyalty to his wife, Marceline, but he was not secret about his affairs. He had a long list of lovers. I can't count them all.
We don't have enough fingers and toes together.
And obviously, many of these people are part of the church and were coerced into his bed. I feel like I could stake the majority of my life and my possessions on saying that the majority of them are probably coerced.
Yes.
So in 1971, Jim made the claim that he was the father of a child named John Victor, and he had that child with a woman who was not his wife named Grace Stowen.
Yep, we're going to talk a lot about her in part 2.
Are you? Okay.
Oh, yes.
I have nothing else besides that. I'm just like, here's another child added to his list.
Yeah.
So aside from her, another name stood out the most, which was Carolyn Layton. Will she come up with you?
No, she doesn't come up with me.
Because their affair was the longest.
Yeah.
The affair with Carolyn began in 1968, and he had one child with her, a son named Kimo, I think is how you...
Probably. Who knows?
Kimo, Kimo Prokes.
Okay.
So his full name is Kimo Prokes. The child's last name was taken after Mike Prokes, who is the spokesperson of the People's Temple, or one of them.
Yep, that tracks.
Because he didn't want his good name to be sullied when he figured out that
Wait, hold on. Who figured out?
Because
the kid was named after the father, but Jim is claiming it's his son.
No. Pause. Okay, so Jim claims John Victor.
Yes, from Grace. Yes. Grace's
child. Now with Carolyn, with her son, he's saying, no, that's not mine. And he makes the child take Mike Prokes' name.
Okay.
I think she was also in a relationship or sleeping with Mike, so it made sense anyway.
Yeah, that happened a lot. There were quote unquote open relationships with a lot of these married couples. Just on the side of the woman, so the woman could sleep with Jim.
Yes.
Well, that was it.
There was lots of talk about sexual liberation, which is weird because his views are very confusing. One minute he's loyal. Next minute he's do anybody. I don't know.
And it flips again in part 2, just FYI.
Great. So he can't keep anything straight.
No, except his dick. I'm just kidding. Oh, I'm so sorry.
Yeah. Yep, that tracks. And when Carolyn was actually pregnant with Chemo, she had stopped attending church. And so he's trying to cover up that he's the father. And he tells everyone that he sent her on a secret mission to Mexico. And he actually did send her there. And she was raped while she was there.
No.
So like when she's pregnant, he sends her there by herself and she's raped.
That's fucking
I don't know if it was once or
awful.
multiple times, but...
Oh my gosh.
And then she came back after she had the child. And their affair was honestly pretty well known. Like, no one straight up talked about it on the surface, but everyone kind of like, we know.
Oh, it was a well-known secret. Like, everybody knew he had multiple...
Oh, well-known secret,
They called
yes.
them, like, Jones's mistresses.
Yeah.
Like, they literally had a group name, guys.
Oh, good.
Not a groupie I want to be a part of, I'm just saying.
Carolyn was one of his most trusted in his inner circle, which is why their affair like lasted so long too. She seemed to be his favorite, even above Marceline sometimes. But she didn't rank as high as Marceline in the People's Temple.
Right.
So Marceline let's talk about her. I know some about her. Lacey will have more to share about Marceline. But she was kind. She had a really good heart. It's like most of her decisions, it seems, she led with her heart, maybe sometimes versus her brain.
Yeah.
But regardless, it's like her heart was always in the right place. And she would kind of soften judgments and condemnations, convictions that came from Jim.
She did.
So if he felt like he needed to punish somebody in the temple, she would kind of be like the balancing scale for him.
Uh-huh.
So like some things that could have been harsher may have actually been given more grace because of Marceline specifically. If she hadn't been in the equation, I feel like a lot of people would have been hurt worse or hurt, period.
Yeah.
You know,
and like
in certain instances.
she was able to soften some to a degree, but even with her softening a lot of certain things, it was still brutal, the abuse they suffered from Jones.
And she was still part of a bigger problem. We have to acknowledge that. She would sometimes stand in for Jim with like some activities or services, and she chastised people for questioning his teachings or his decisions. She spoke highly of him in public.
Yeah.
She was not going to betray him in the public eye or with followers or anything.
I feel very like torn when it comes to her because I have a lot of grace for her because she is a woman and she has always been taught you submit to your husband and the biblical teaching of like,
exactly,
you don't call out a man.
You're thinking about the religious aspect, the time in which this is happening, her position as a woman also.
Yeah. So I can give her way more grace than I probably should.
I also think that she actually did love him.
I think she did too.
And I think she loved him I think she saw everything, but in spite of it also chose love.
And like I said earlier, like he made her choose between him and her father. And she knows biblically, like once she's out from under her father, she goes right under her husband. And so she's literally being pulled from one covering to the next and now being made to choose which one's more important. And she sees her future with Jones. So of course she's going to choose that because that's what her religion has been telling her that's what she needs to choose.
And she's also got her kids too.
Well, this was when they were dating. This was before they even got married.
Oh, true. Yeah.
And so he was already like manipulating her early on.
And then he continues to do so with, she knows that Carolyn is waiting in the wings for him half the time after a service, you know? And she's like, she stands up to the podium and like just spills praise about her husband and watches him walk into the arms of the other woman. And they go off together. And she takes it, you know?
Yeah.
And I actually have part of a letter that Marceline wrote to Jim in the year 1970. She says, "In one more year, I will have spent half my life with you. In that time, I've known great joy and great sorrow. It has been my love for you that has tempered all things and made the good and the bad melt to compose a beautiful harmony. If I have no future with you, I'm grateful for today. So,
Wow.
I think it's a bit of a survivor complex as well.
I think so too. Yeah.
She wasn't fully happy. It's obvious she wasn't fully happy because she didn't align with every single thing that Jim did. A kind person just wouldn't.
No.
And that's what she was. She was kind. And it's reported that she didn't write this down, but she was quoted by some followers that she had like confided in that her life was a nightmare. And even her kids also said like they had heard her mention like, my life is a nightmare.
She doesn't have a choice.
She's like got to put on this mask for everybody. And then like she's got nothing else left for her at the end.
Like, and I know when you guys hear us say like she didn't have a choice, like in reality, yes, she always has a choice. But when the weight of like your salvation and your religion is put on that, you are made to feel and believe you literally do not have a choice. Your salvation, your kid's salvation, everything relies on this, and breaking away from that, in my opinion and in my experience, is probably harder than like getting away from an abusive ex or a spouse or whatever, because there's that religious aspect to the relationship that's not there in other cases.
Because the marriage will end. Someone will die. The marriage will eventually end, but your soul, you think about that, the eternal soul. And that's what the like underlying concern is.
We always say it's not as simple as being like, why couldn't you just leave? And here we're adding a whole nother element that makes it even harder to leave. So
yeah. So she did try to leave. She actually tried to leave a couple of times, but anytime that she did, he assured her that she'd lose her kids or even her life.
Yep.
And her kids meant more to her than her freedom. So Stephen, her son, actually recalled that she had hope for him. He said, while Dad pushed a path of self-sacrifice and doom, Mom talked to me about universities and family and future and escape. And she gave Stephen a passport and a passbook to a bank account containing $100,000. But his adopted brothers actually discovered his plan and told Jim so that he could prevent him from leaving. So
yeah.
In 1974, Marceline wrote out a document assigning Carolyn to take over her duties and oversee her children in the event of her passing.
That is fucked.
I don't know why specifically she did this.
I don't know.
I don't know if she thought she was going to die.
She probably did.
In 1972, let's just backtrack a little bit. So we're done with Marceline for now, but many articles start coming out about the exposing of hoax miracles at the hands of Jim Jones and the People's Temple.
Fucking finally.
It finally comes full circle because there were a couple of reporters that went to the actual healing services and witnessed chicken intestines being used as props.
Ew.
Where someone had coughed up cancer.
Oh, shut up.
But it was like chicken gizzards or something, you know? He was convincing people that he was like raising the dead, but he was like, I saw that person breathing in the coffin.
Yeah. Oh my gosh. Also, it's like if you have cancer in your arm, how the fuck does it get to your lungs so you can cough it up? But okay. Whatever.
They also witnessed young women that were paid to dress up as elderly cripples, and they would be healed by Jim and start jumping.
Oh my God, that is so hilarious.
I mean,
that is so funny.
And so after these reporters come out and say all this, then the Indiana State Psychology Board called Jim a quack.
Love it. That's right.
They said he is quack.
He is a quack. Quack attack. Stay away from the quack.
And they also, like, one of their physicians on the board said they, like, requested for a sample tissue of these healings so that they could go test it.
Oh, yeah.
And be sure. They were like, prove it. Like, we are giving you the opportunity. We'll foot the bill. Prove it. Spoiler alert. He didn't get back with them.
It's giving, like, Young Living with the, like, chicken blood and then being like, oh my God, it's riddled with cancer. That was a cat's blood. Oh, that cat is sick. Gets a full bill of health from the vet. Like,
that cat is sick.
Keep moving that goalpost.
Okay, so in 1973, the People's Temple had reached thousands of people. They have thousands of members at this point.
Yeah.
36,000 subscribers to its fundraising newsletter.
I don't like that at all.
So they're getting money at the wazoo. They don't even have to this isn't even from their divine services they're doing.
Yeah.
Or any of their other money-making ventures. It's specifically just their newsletter that people subscribe to. December 13th of 1973, Jim Jones was arrested and charged with lewd conduct for allegedly masturbating in front of an undercover police officer in a movie theater restroom.
I did not know that.
In Los Angeles.
I did not know that. That's crazy.
Well, I was anytime I look up these people, I'm okay, if they're dead now, I need a full list of if they committed any crime at all, if they were ever arrested.
Yeah.
The charges were dismissed and the reports were actually sealed, so we don't even have access to them.
Why are they sealed?
Because nothing can ever touch him. Remember, he's got high-profile friends.
He does.
He's helping politicians. Honestly, he's untouchable. He's almost like a god.
There was one politician that asked him, it was a mayor, I think it was a mayor, asked him to help them, help him get elected. And he used his volunteers at his church to help pass out flyers and offered their buses and everything.
Oh, yeah.
And literally he told him, I just hope that one day you remember and you help us if we need our help, if you get into the position. So it's he's got these people stacked in his back pocket.
Okay. 1973, Ross Case, a former follower, began investigating the People's Temple and uncovered evidence of a staged healing, abuse, and rape by Jones. So by Jim Jones.
Yeah, not shocked.
Ross Case reported his findings to the authorities, but no action was taken. And at that time, the paranoia is ramping up for Jim Jones. It's the more powerful he gets, the more paranoid he is.
Yeah.
And he hires bodyguards that year for himself. In 1974, negative reports are again beginning to surface. So in 1972, he was able to kind of
yeah, dodge the bullet.
With the, But now, reports begin to surface about a man referred to as Father by his followers. And former members are describing this man as promising them purposeful lives, praising them, and then, once they're in the fold, forcing them to give up their belongings, money, jewels, homes, even custody of their children to him. And they tell of being subjected to beatings and rape. Again, he advocated for marriage, but he also believed in sexual liberation and then would preach celibacy. And then on top of that, any spouse who reacted with jealousy over their husband's extramarital affairs would be admonished publicly in the People's Temple.
Yeah.
And he made members disclose their sexual orientation whenever they joined. And in instances where a man would say that they were gay, Jim would sodomize them to make sure they were gay.
I have no words. That's assault. Everybody, sexual assault.
Oh, that's 100% rape. Jim Jones raped men.
It's getting that guy, who was it? I can't think of his name, but he was some right-wing commentator guy, and he literally went online and like made a video and like on his news channel of him in 2016 shoving a dildo up his ass to prove that, to like get it, like stick it to the libs.
Oh, he really stuck it.
I was like, how is
That's crazy?
We're not the one getting it stuck to, sir.
Oh my God.
But why would he need to make sure? I don't understand that.
And the thing is, he was adamant that he was heterosexual. He was like 100% across the board. If anyone asked him, he was like, oh, I'm straight. But it's like he had a problem with being gay, but then also encouraged every lifestyle and was like, advocated for queer rights.
Yeah.
So again, like, there's so many questions about like, what do you actually believe? And then it comes down to, you just are self-serving. That's all you are. You're self-serving. You're a prick.
Exactly.
You don't care about anybody else. You're a white savior. You're not really a savior. You're just an asshole. You're just an asshole.
He's a wannabe white savior.
It was also discovered that members that were Black and other members of like other minority groups, so any people of color really,
Yeah.
were convinced that if they left the People's Temple, they would be rounded up into government-run concentration camps.
Mhm.
And again, I can't really blame them for believing that
Mm-hmm.
based on World War II
Yeah.
just happening. So family members were kept apart and encouraged to inform on one another. We've seen this in countless other episodes with cults. That's just like they isolate you. They make you believe that everyone else is the enemy, including the people that love and support you.
Yeah.
And then they will reward you most of the time when you come forward when you stitch on each other.
Mm-hmm.
That's all. Disciples of Christ, remember, that is where he was ordained.
Yes.
They started to receive, so their organization started to receive several reports alleging all of this abuse and requesting that his ordination be revoked. But the Disciples of Christ, they were like, okay, we'll do an investigation. I don't know what this investigation consisted of.
Right.
It probably was a couple of interviews with him, maybe some other members, and they said they found no evidence of wrongdoing. I don't believe that they actually went out to the communal properties, and I also don't think that I think they were interviewing members that were
Correct.
actively in it versus like former with the...
That's like your inspector coming in to do an inspection on your home, but he wears a blindfold the whole time.
I mean, they're getting millions from this guy.
Yeah.
So like...
Don't bite the hand that feeds you kind of thing.
Well, Jim was not happy about people speaking out. So even though Disciples of Christ didn't punish him, no one else is punishing him, he's upset that people are speaking out.
Uh-huh.
And with that comes punishment. And now I'm going to list what that might look like in the People's Temple for anyone that disobeyed or disrespected Jim. Sometimes it was just work detail, doing dirty work, or getting the cold shoulder, getting ignored.
Yep.
Other times it was group punishment, so public humiliation, being beaten, drugged, or even being put into the box. And the box was an underground container, 4 by 6 feet, and it was a deprivation chamber. So totally dark, nothing else is in there, no sound, like nothing. And you don't know, like time, when you're in a deprivation chamber, time gets so messed up.
Time, space.
So messed up for you. So you never really know how long you've been in there.
Is so whack.
Now that we know where this is going with punishment and stuff, he's facing unflattering media attention, mounting investigations. And at this point, he then orders the constructions of Jonestown in Guyana, which is in South America, where he promises them they would build a socialist utopia. Forget heaven after death. They were after heaven on earth. And that concludes the first part of Jonestown.
Yeah.
And it's about to get so much worse.
Now, you guys get to take a breather and you can be like, oh my gosh, that was a lot. I'm going to go take a nap. I'm going to go eat a snack and then I'll come back tomorrow for part 2. We don't. We're literally hitting stop and then hitting start for part 2.
Hitting record again.
Send us chants and spells to...
Send us some love. Give us a follow, subscribe, anything.
This is my small...
Share with your friends.
This is my small little palate cleanser. It was like this video I saw yesterday morning. It was like, instead of saying thoughts and prayers, let's just say like we're doing chants and hexes or chants and spells. Like we're sending some chants and spells your way. And so I'm like,
action words.
I fucking love that. Right? Like, so that's good. So send some chants and spells our way.
I like that too.
As we trudge through this hellhole.
I have no palate cleanser. I'm going to drink some water and I'm going to get ready for you to absolutely obliterate my mind. Because I have only ever looked at the main plot points of what goes on.
It's really bad. I'm sorry, guys.
Great.
Part 2 is going to be a lot heavier, so.
Ta-da!
That's why you're here. Anyways, we'll see you guys in part 2. Love you guys. Bye.
Bye.